joining us. Welcome to Campus Connection. I'm Emily Provlis.
And I'm Rebecca Hogland.
On this edition of Campus Connection, we tackle the question, why do teachers take attendance?
Also, find out the story behind a man on campus offering free hugs to students.
And a look at K-Beach Radio and their transition to high definition. Let's begin with a look at the Distinguished Speaker Series that recently took place on campus. With our current economic condition and unemployment numbers high, graduation can be a stressful time for some students, which is why one department is taking creative measures to help its students succeed. The Communication Studies Department, in collaboration with the department's professional event planning course, held its semi-annual Distinguished Speaker Series, which was created by Dr. Catherine Brooks.
Now you must remember, Catherine Brooks is the Distinguished Speaker Series. This is her baby, this is her project, and she is thoughtful and kind enough to allow professional event planning to interface in such a way that we can assist her in her endeavours to plan the event and to host the event.
Although the university hosts distinguished speaker events throughout the year, this particular event stands out because of its unique purpose. The motivation behind this event is to create a larger and stronger community between communication studies students and alumni, and more importantly, to help students network, ultimately increasing their chances of landing a job. The award-winning scholar and theorist Dr. Craig Smith moderated the event.
Dr. Craig Smith is perhaps the most profound and most prolific rhetorical theorist that's still alive with us. We are so fortunate to have him in our department.
4 communication studies alumni made up the panel of distinguished speakers. The speakers shared everything, from college experiences, disappointments, and hardships leading up to their eventual career success. They also gave advice to the undergraduates and encouraged them to never give up, reminding them that every experience gets you a step closer to where you want to be.
I think that this event will benefit students just because they can see the outlook and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that there is hope, and that if they graduate they can be just as successful as our panel was tonight.
After the event, a reception provided those in attendance with food and drinks at the Carl Anatol Center. The students who took advantage of this networking opportunity had the chance to speak with rhetorical theorist Dr. Smith, members of the panel, as well as professors. Networking can lay the foundation for a successful career. Because of Dr. Brooks and her Distinguished Speaker Series, the students in this field of study are given a valuable opportunity for personal and professional growth, which will help them excel in their future. With Campus Connection, Emily Provlis.
What a great opportunity for Long Beach students. Next, we examine the man behind the free hugs and face paint. There is a new and different type of protesting on campus. Maria Candares has more.
Protesting in peace is what alum Dave Rathel does here at California State University, Long Beach. You can find him on warm and sunny days on the grassy areas of campus, spreading his message with hugs and free face paintings for fellow students.
Started doing face painting and making art every day to protest the war. So.
He has been peacefully protesting the war in the Middle East since 2006, hoping students will join him and raise awareness.
It's just about gathering the right momentum and the right people around me for that to happen.
Unlike traditional protesting, which can sometimes turn violent, Dave has found a way to protest on campus through his paintings.
Come out here and do something positive in reaction to it, instead of spreading that negativity and yelling at people and being really angry.
With a bachelor's degree in film and electronic media from Cal State Long Beach, he has been on this campus for 10 years now, and many students appreciate him for being brave and speaking out.
I'm happy for Dave, and I'm proud of him because it takes a lot of courage for him to do that.
Students passing by to and from their classes will come and speak to Dave and hug him if they're having a bad day. Although he is here 4 days out of the week, you can find him at art shows, in galleries, and painting on the weekends. Dave will continue to peacefully protest on campus until he gets his point across. Maria Candares, Campus Connection.
Still to come, learn about K-Beach Radio's switch to high definition.
The College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach is celebrating 40 years of transforming lives through education. And now we're offering more opportunities than ever for you to reach higher. Our Global Logistics Specialist designation will prepare you for a career in the burgeoning goods movement sector. Which future is right for you? You'll find it at ccpe.csulb.edu or call us at 800-963-2250. CCPE at Cal State Long Beach.
Public safety and public service are two of the highest priorities in California. The California State University system has supplied the state with prominent public leaders for the past 5 decades. Cal State Dominguez Hills graduate Millage Peaks is the retired chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department.
There's not a day in my life that I don't draw on some of that educational experience that I gained at Dominguez Hills.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years.
Welcome back. K-Beach Radio is going HD. The switch will make the station available for everyone from LA County to Orange County. Haley Corkin has the story.
K-Beach Radio is making the move to HD come February 2012. The switch will earn the station their own FM channel to share music and talk shows with their listeners via radio. With a potential listenership of 6 million people from LA to the OC, plus regular podcasts and live internet streaming, K-Beach staff are all very excited.
Oh, definitely very excited about it. I think it legitimizes us a little more. Now when we talk to other radio stations and stuff, we can actually say, look, we're on FM. It's not just, oh, look, it's that little college radio station on the internet.
K-Beach is set to share an FM signal with K-Jazz Radio on campus. The station's move to HD has been in the works for a while, making itself the main focus of K-Beach staff. The switch will not be without its challenges. Rock the Beach talk show host Isabel Nowak can relate.
Since it's a college campus, we want to be controversial. So I think this is going to be one of the main challenges once we go HD to really live up to the audience's expectations to really stay consistent.
There is a definite buzz around campus about the switch to FM. More and more students are being convinced to listen to K-Beach once it airs on the radio.
I definitely don't listen to K-Beach radio now, but if it were to go on the radio, I'd listen to it more while I was driving in my car, whenever I was out.
You can support K-Beach Radio by tuning into channel 88.1 HD3 come February. Haley Corkin, Campus Connection.
The midterm period is upon us, and students spend hours in the library. There is another campus facility that is popular at this time of year. Rebecca Hoglund has the story.
We are in the middle of the semester and students have a lot of pressure on them. Sometimes it can be hard to find motivation to study.
This week is really stressful for me. I have 3 midterms and I'm super overwhelmed with school and work, and the only thing that really gets me through the day is working out.
An increasing number of students are using the Student Wellness and Recreation Center as a healthy distraction from school-related stress.
Actually, this semester we have more students coming in the middle of this semester than we did last year. So we have about 4,000 people each day, Monday through Thursday, about 2,500 on Friday and 1,000 on the weekends.
Every day there are students signing up to become new members of the rec center.
It's the middle of the semester, midterms, tests, everything's crazy. And coming to work out at the rec center is a really good stress reliever, and it's a really positive environment. If you go hang out at the library and you're going to be surrounded by people that are stressed out and crazy, you come here and everyone is happy and excited and energetic, and it's just a really positive atmosphere, and it helps you get through your semester.
The rec center recently hosted a push-up competition to attract even more students to the gym and to raise awareness around how exercise benefits students.
Really, it helps, I would say, just keep you on top of your studies, especially when you have more energy to study and it doesn't take a cup of coffee to do so. You know, physical activity can help just as much as caffeine and things like that.
Some students say exercise helps them do better work in the classroom.
It's nice to be able to take a break and do something physical, you know, if you're sitting in a chair all day studying, so I think it helps. You know, I study better when I work out too. weeks where I can't work out at all because I'm too busy. It's just I have no energy. You know, I go and like try to study, I have no focus. So I think it helps. I mean, just being able to come in and like burn some energy off.
Veterans Day rolls around every November. There are many ways to honor it.
Haley Corkin joins us in the studio with a special guest.
Thanks, Rebecca and Emily. I'm here with Dr. Marshall Thomas from the Veterans Affairs Services here on campus. So, Dr. Thomas, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what services Veterans Affairs offers?
Certainly. Well, we have a couple of things that we do. Primarily, our office is charged with making sure that veterans get their educational benefits through the Veterans Affairs Office of the U.S. Veterans Affairs and also the state Veterans Affairs for some of our dependents. The other thing that we do is advocacy and outreach, really being an advocate for any veterans on campus and also reaching out to the veterans who are about to get out of the service and those that are trying to transfer here from the community colleges.
How important is it to accommodate veterans returning back to their studies?
Well, it's really critical. You know, there's a big transition from being in the military to being in a civilian community, and you can imagine that the culture of the military is pretty significantly different than the culture on a college campus. You know, they go from being in a very regimented environment to one that's quite free and liberating and open. So getting into a classroom environment is quite different than perhaps being in a war zone. So it's very important to make sure that they have a good transition from the service to the school.
How do you find that the veterans typically cope with that transition?
Well, for the most part, they do a great job. We do have some students that need additional help, and we have a lot of services on campus that can help them out with that. But as I said, a lot of them are transfer students, so by the time they get to Cal State Long Beach, they're pretty well adapted and are quite good students.
How can students continue to support their veterans after November, after Veterans Day has passed, and so that it's an ongoing thing?
Well, I think the most important thing is to recognize that there are a lot of people on our campus, over 300, that have served in the military, and to recognize that they bring a wealth of experience with them to the academic environment, and realize that they can all learn from the veterans, and the veterans can learn from them as well.
So we have our special services here on campus, but America as a whole, do you think they do a good job typically of looking after their veterans, or do you think that there's more that they could be doing?
Well, you know, I think it's very interesting that we have had a really good history in the last 10 years of welcoming our veterans back home from overseas. Lots of parades and welcome home signs and things like that. But I think that we can often forget that the veterans are moving on with their lives. They're going to school, they're trying to get jobs, trying to raise their families, and we often forget that they're veterans after the parade is over. So I think it's important to realize that we want to continue to give people support both educationally and in the job market so that they can continue to be successful and contribute to the community at large.
Now, you mentioned the job market. Unemployment rates are unfortunately nothing new in America, but hopefully people take your advice and continue to support our veterans year-round, not just in November for Veterans Day.
That would be great.
Thanks for speaking with us, Dr. Thomas. That's all we have time for today. We're going to head back to Emily and Rebecca in the studio.
Coming up next, find out what students think about mandatory classroom attendance.
California's high-tech industries create the cutting edge. The California State University system develops the brain power and the human resources necessary to drive the innovations of the future. Bluetooth founder and Intel engineer Jim Kardak is a Fresno State graduate.
You look at the current batch of people coming out, they're very smart. I think it'll be interesting to see what the CSU system has produced 50 years from now.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years. California's population depends on high-quality health care. The California State University graduates professionals in the business of medicine who keep the system operating 24/7. Cal State Stanislaus graduate Pam Cahaley is president of Anthem Blue Cross.
The value of that education relative to the cost is phenomenal. I would put my money on the CSU system.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years.
Mandatory attendance is something a lot of students at CSULB have to accept. For some students, this leads to a lot of funny excuses for why they can't make it to class. Siri Pallison reports.
My cat got out and I had to chase her all over the neighborhood. That actually happened to me one time. That one's really good.
The little book of lies and excuses can come in handy for students who can't make it to class.
Elena Guzeva is tired of the teachers taking classroom attendance.
I hate how classes take attendance because usually I can just teach myself better. I just read the book and then I just do well on the tests. I hate going to class because usually the teachers are horrible and they don't even teach you anything. So yeah, I basically miss all my classes all the time.
Campus Connection asked a couple of students to share their funniest excuses.
I'd say one of the weirdest excuses I've ever had is going to my grandma's dog Fluffy's funeral. You know, he died of cardiac arrest, so it was very sad. You know, he got cremated. We blew out the ashes with all the other puppies around.
Okay, well usually I say that I'm sick and I have to go to the health center, but one time I told my teacher that I got my eyes dilated, which means they put eye drops in your pupils. They're so big you're not really supposed to be driving, so I told him that I got my eyes dilated and I wore sunglasses to class. So he believed it and then I didn't have to take the test.
Even if you have a good excuse, it's important to be aware that attendance may affect your grade.
If it's a smaller class, like a foreign language class like mine, then it would be very important to attend as much as possible, but if it's one of those larger lecture classes, I don't think that the student should be forced to attend. Well, no one really is forced to attend. You do have the choice of whether or not to go. But whether your grade suffers as a result, it just varies from class to class.
Associated Students Incorporated recently voted in support of extending the Long Beach plastic bag ban to campus. Although the ban on campus has not yet taken effect, the eventual aim would be to cease distribution of plastic bags from 49er shops. Long Beach students seems to be supportive of ASI's decision.
For my community psychology class, I volunteered with the Surfrider Foundation, which actually helped to get the ban in Long Beach. So I think it'd be good to get it here. It helps if you go down to the beaches and everything. They're so dirty, and you know, anything to help the environment.
The campus ban is part of the ongoing effort to further sustainability. Students would be encouraged to bring reusable bags from home instead of receiving plastic bags from campus stores.
After the break, learn more about former NPR analyst Juan Williams and his visit to the Long Beach campus.
We'll be right back.
California's engineering innovations circle the globe and light the darkness. The California State University system has been enlightening promising engineers for the past 5 decades. Cal State LA graduate Pervez Lodi is the founder and president of Ledtronics, a leading light-emitting diode company.
If you work hard, get proper education, the American dreams are still available there to everybody.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years. California's agricultural products feed the world. The California State University system has been rooted in the state's wine business for the past 5 decades. Sonoma State graduate Jacques Schlumberger owns a premier estate winery in the lush rolling hills of Healdsburg.
I think the fact that you see graduates working and being so productive really speaks to the value of the CSU.
The California State University system has been working for California for 50 years.
Guest speaker Juan Williams, journalist and author, recently made a visit to campus. He said we should have an honest debate in our political discourse. Silver Mejia has the story.
It's almost exactly 1 year ago that Williams was fired from his radio news job after admitting just a little too much on live radio. Expressing how uneasy he felt when Muslims boarded planes was clearly something that raised huge controversy worldwide. This year's Distinguished Speaker Series was hosted at CSULB's Carpenter Center, where students signed up to hear the Fox News political analyst explain the incident in detail. Williams encourages students to practice their freedom of speech intelligently. And what better place to start than on campus, where he believes freedom of speech is most welcomed.
To be in that arena and then to be free to say what I want to say, what I'm genuinely thinking, again, is a privilege. So that's the goal. You want to reach people where they are and try to help them get to a higher level.
Williams also mentions that college students are essential to progressive change.
The advantage of youth sometimes is you've never been down this road before. You don't have any rut. You're making a new way.
And radio student volunteer Kwamel agrees that college welcomes new ideas by adding fresh voices.
College is a place where people can kind of open up and start to be themselves after coming out of places like high school where a person is kind of persecuted for being different, if you will. So here there's no better place to kind of open up and either learn your value system or the value system you already have, kind of get to express it a little more.
And hopefully other CSULB students can agree. Silver Mejia, Campus Connection.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Campus Connection.
Keeping you connected and up to date on campus news, this is Rebecca Hogland
and Emily Problis. We'll see you next time.